Obviously, first couple weeks here as a Sun Devil, what are the things that you've been attacking first?
Well, I think you hit the ground running in recruiting right nowadays. We got here pretty fast. That cycle gets on you pretty quick nowadays. And so we hit the ground running when I got here right before Christmas break, and we were right to start attacking recruiting right away. Added some really good guys. Tried to eval the roster as fast as I can without having seen any guys. They're all on Christmas break and away, and I can't see them move. And then when we did get in the office, got to meet the staff and kind of really plug into them and try to get a chance to meet them as people, coaches, and get an idea of where they're coming from and what their backgrounds are, and really try to align. I think that's a huge part of what I've got to get done is align myself with the rest of the group, and that's been fun.
What's your early kind of impression? Obviously, not having seen these guys in a practice setting, but just kind of being the offensive talent that you have here.
Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, we've had 1 week of workouts where I get to see the guys run around in T-shirts and shorts, and that's always pretty fun and exciting when you see them just running on air. And got some film clips of last year. A lot of guys that are on this roster that are really exciting to think about. Many of them didn't play. We've added a lot of new talent. But I think the coach has done a really good job recruiting and started a foundation for an explosive offense that I think could be physical and take a lot of pride in the way they work. And we've added some important pieces. We've gotten bigger, I think, for the most part. We've added some elements at the skill position, added some at the quarterback position, the running back, that I think can make the offense really go.
Coach Dillingham sort of mentioned how you guys have similar belief systems, a will to win, to create a culture here at ASU. So was that kind of one of the determining factors that led you to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that any time, especially when you get, I don't have to call myself a veteran because I feel old. Anytime you're going through this process like we did, that you start trying to align yourself maybe with some different things when you're looking for where you want to land. And I think when we first started talking, me and Kenny realized right away we shared some common thoughts, some common beliefs, both on and off the field. And I think that was really fun to hear. It was really, really exciting. It was authentic, and that was important to me. It was encouraging and engaging in regards to how he saw the program. He's from here. He's got a passion about it. That was important. And then we started talking about football, and we aligned in a lot of similar places in regards to that. That piece of it's sometimes pretty simple because that's what we do. But that was good for us to be aligned that way in a lot of common ways.
Coach Arroyo, both you and Kenny at OCs at Oregon at different times. How much interaction have you guys had prior to this point of being now together on the staff?
Yeah, good question, Blake. We cross paths. This is a small circle and small business. We all sometimes know each other or, crossbreed in regards to who we've coached or where we've been at. Me and Kenny had a crossover here at Oregon not too long ago. There was a lot of guys that was there for quite a while. A lot of guys in the roster and in that town and in that facility and sports athletic department that we knew. I knew a little bit about him. He knew about me. And so I think it was inherent to have probably a casual conversation in regards to kind of what either of us did and the effect we had on those people. So
Sorry, how would you describe
okay.
your coaching style, and what should we expect from you out there?
Yeah, I mean, pretty aggressive, optimistic, pretty tough, detailed. I love the coach. I love to be on the field. There's nothing like it. But I think the ability to connect with the guys, be able to teach, is probably the thing that I take the most pride in when we're out there.
And you said that you're a QB guy. Just where does that stem from?
Yeah, I mean, obviously having played the positions, probably where you get the most background from that. But growing up, all the way back, I was always the pitcher, or the shortstop, or the point guard, the quarterback, and I think that probably lent to the fact that you kind of then went into the quarterback room and you can throw. And grew up in the West Coast, up in Rockland, California as a kid, so I got a chance to be around Bill Walsh and those guys up at training camp for the Niners. And inherently, when you're around that tree, you kind of get sucked into the quarterback training and all the gurus that came out of that tree. So that's pretty fun to keep close to the heart.
Of course, this spring the big storyline is going to be the quarterback battle. You guys both jobs. Over your course of career, what have you found is like the best way to kind of administer quarterback competition and give those guys a chance to win that job?
Yeah, I mean that's the key to all of it. We're watching it right now. You watch it at the highest level and finding the guys that can really compete and let the cream rise to the top. I think more than anything, you just got to be honest with the position. You've got to create clarity. I think that's the piece that I find most advantageous when you get into a room, any room really, is just eliminating the gray. I think all of us inherently as humans want an opportunity to know what we need to do, how we need to do it, and when we didn't do it, what we didn't do right. And I think that the quarterback position is vaulted as it is. It doesn't have to be any different. I think that having an open competition that everybody knows what it's about, how to do things is fair. Being very clear on what needs to get done, giving them feedback. I think that's a lot of places that a lot of teachers miss on, is that they don't close the loop. They give you all the things you need to do, and at the end, they just don't really get down to correcting it the right way. Being humble and authentic in my regard and what I can do better is a big piece of teaching and coaching. So I think I'm up front with those guys in regards first to what I can do better, in regards to help them if something's not working out. It's not a me thing, it's a we thing.
What's your assessment of the quarterbacks you've got in your room?
I can't wait to see. Right now, they look great in t-shirt and shorts. We haven't thrown a ball. We haven't talked a whole bunch of stuff. There's not many meetings yet, but I think overall, I say that with tongue in cheek. I think the thing I'm most excited about is I have met them as humans, and I think there's a piece there with those guys that I feel like they connect well. They want to be connected with. I think they're good people. I think they're hard workers. I think it's important to them. I don't think, I think at the end of the day, at that position, you need to be smart and tough and productive. And the productive piece we won't know yet, but I do know that they've been smart in regards to making the decisions in regards to being on time and doing things right. They seem like resilient guys. That's something I think you grow into as you get older. But I'm excited because I think they're all competitive and they have a spirit about them and obviously some things on film that you're going to like.
Coach, on the aspect of competition, but also development, you and Kenny have both developed a lot of good quarterbacks. Justin Herbert with you, and Kenny with a lot of other guys. Yeah. What are the important pieces to developing a quality level quarterback?
Yeah, I think that's probably the big question for all of us in this business. I think first of all it's the evaluation process, being able to find out the external pieces about that person. How they think, whether it's recruiting Jared Goff or you're Justin Herbert or the Nick Mullins or the Bo or whoever. It's finding out how they tick, finding out what they're wired, how they compete, what's important to them, how you can connect with them. Obviously being able to manage the game, whether it be physically, in their arm slot or the ability with their feet, being productive, making good decisions, what they do well. That's a big piece of really our job, is finding out how we can hang our hat on their strengths. And I think we'll put these guys in position offensively to where we're gonna challenge them and find out how we can press the ball down the field, how we can be explosive, how they can make good decisions, how they can control and manage the offense. I give them all of it and let them ride, and then pull back later. That's kind of the philosophy I have. Really is run free. So it'll be fun.
I'm sorry if I missed this question.
That's
what
okay.
attracted you to ASU? What made this the job that you wanted to work for Kenny Dillingham and you wanted to come here?
Yeah, good question. So we had an awesome year to kind of travel around and see a lot of people that I've been connected with the last 20 years, NFL and college. And, when the conversation started back up with a few people and both levels, all levels across the country, I just had to make sure that we were making the decision based on the people, the place, and then obviously the ability of the place to be really successful. And I think that when me and Kenny started talking, as we were talking to other people, we kind of hit it off in regards to how we saw things, how we treat people first, how he was going to run the business, how he's going to treat the organization, how his coaches were. I know enough people in this business where I can make a couple calls and usually we can get a feel for each other and who's working around. So we really hit it off in that regard. Then we started talking football, and that really was the easy part,
Kenny mentioned that coaches like Todd Monken and Cutter had some high praise for you. To what extent were you aware of that in the process of talking with Kenny about the position and how that sort of panned out?
Yeah, those are flattering names, obviously, because you spend a lot of time in your career, building relationships with people who, wherever they affected your life, hopefully that when someone calls for you, they call back and they have hopefully some good things to say. Guys like Todd Monken, Dirk Cutter, Chris Peterson, Mike Gundy, Jeff Tedford. I mean, the list goes on of guys that I've really tried to keep a long, steady relationship over the course of my entire life or career. When those guys take a chance in their day to call, when someone calls for you, it's very humbling. But it reminds you why you build relationships and why you take the time, why you spent the money as a GA to go travel and watch someone sit in a room and sleep in a Motel 6 or your car to hang out and learn, and at the end of the day, treat people right. And I think those guys are perfect examples of people I respect, and when it's reciprocated, it's pretty special.
Coach, what qualities should people expect in the Sun Devil offense?
One more time. I'm
What
sorry.
qualities should people expect in the Sun Devil offense?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm most excited about seeing. I mean, an explosive offense is what we're used to capable of doing. There's a good balance usually that we've had. The whole thing's revolved really around the personnel. I get to see who we've got. Looks like we've got some weapons that we're pretty excited about. We've got some linemen up front that we can really challenge the front with. I think you've got to control the game to be successful in the long run. You can be flashy for a little bit, but that usually comes back and haunts you later in the stages of the big games, whether it be playoffs or whatever it may be, big goal games. You've got to be able to control the game, and I think being physical and run the football, play action, but being explosive is a big piece of our offense. Playing fast with tempo is a big piece of our offense. So plug the personnel in and let it ride is really how we're going to let it roll.
Your early thoughts on your offensive assistants?
Yeah, great question. You know, when you're choosing the school and the head coach, you're also choosing who's there with them, you know, and I think there's a little advantage to being around a long time again because I know where those guys have been or who they've been with. So, you know, Coach T. Sauga's been around for a while. I've known quite a few people who worked with him. He worked with one of my biggest mentors, Coach Tedford, for a long time. I knew a lot about Sauga. I've known Jason and Sean since recruiting their high schools back when I was recruiting. I've known them for a long time as people and coaches. Coach Samples I've known from the guys he's bounced around in Texas where I've recruited for a really long time. So, you know, you end up knowing, have a little bit of piece of glance into the room, and it's pretty cool when you feel good about those guys. And all those guys have been really excited about the time we've sat down and started really developing the playbook. So I think those guys are awesome.